Hi, my name's Katie and welcome to my channel. I have Matt here from Duffy Aquatics.
Hello everyone.
So you may have seen a video from Nick at Keeping Fish Simple about 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago now.
Yes.
It was all about no water changes, which is it still that way here?
Yes, so
yeah.
I'm too lazy to change water.
Yeah. So what we're going to be able to show you guys actually is a way to keep awesome plants and fish without doing water changes at all.
Yep.
Like at all.
Yeah,
Wow,
the only
that's
time I change
incredible.
water is if fish are sick.
Okay.
So like if I've brought in fish, quarantining them, I see there's something wrong with them, then I'm changing water just to make life easy.
They're really nice ponds that we're going to see out the back and even in
Yes.
here as well, like super healthy plants, super healthy fish. So yeah, you're in for a treat with this one. Let's get into the video and we'll show you guys around.
Yes.
All right, let's go.
Firstly, forgive the mess. We have storm damage that is still being fixed.
It was actually a tornado.
Yeah, so a tornado, yeah. It was
On Christmas night.
our Christmas Day present from Mother Nature. 9 p.m, ripped through here like a fart and then destroyed everything.
It was almost a year ago now.
Yeah, so it's nearly been 12 months and the insurance is still like, I don't know. So,
So you didn't lose too many fish, but you did lose some because of the power outage.
yes, so we lost power for about a week. I didn't lose that many fish. I lost a heap of plants because plants don't like being in a blackout situation for a week, and the shrimp didn't do well because of that, because once the plants start dying, they start turning the water acidic, and then the shrimp don't like huge changes in the water quality. So unfortunately, the only cherry shrimp I've got now are pretty much all outside in ponds.
I mean, I thought that these were really cool, like these cubes
Actually,
that you've got set up with plants.
That's probably a good spot, because
Good
then
spot.
if we do this first, I can turn the lights off so the glare's not on all the other tanks.
Yes, perfect. Good thinking.
So I grow a lot of my own plants. At the moment, you can see the blue stricter has grown to the top of the greenhouse and it's actually pushing up on there. So later this afternoon, I'll probably have to do a bunch of cuttings off these and get them started to root out. Dwarf hairgrass. So the initial rootstock that I used is this brown stuff here, because they were grown hydroponically at one of the farms. And I just divided that up and they've sent out runners that has now turned into carpet along here. The reason why all that tall growth has kind of died back is because even though that was grown in a hydroponic environment, the humidity was a lot less than what it is in here. So that's the key for me growing the plants and being able to have them convert really quickly to the aquarium, is they're grown in a lot higher humidity than what the farms are doing. So they already have a different leaf structure, because the leaves will change the structure depending on how much humidity and moisture they're getting. So when they're in these and there's really high humidity, it's as if you're having a huge rain event all the time. So the plants are anticipating a flood so that they can convert for the underwater environment.
And then if you were to add these to an underwater environment, would they take a little while to adapt, or?
Not really. I found even with the blue stricter, so I can show you when we go outside, but if you look here, the leaves are quite delicate and soft. They're not kind of papery and hard. Actually, if we go outside, I can show a really quick example with the water wisteria. So this is water wisteria here, and again, you can see the leaves are quite delicate looking. They're not really furry and kind of tough. So because these are on the edge away from the light, they haven't got that real fishbone structure. So that's why water wisteria's botanical name is Hygrophila deformis, because the leaves will deform depending on how much light they get. So
I actually put in the name. That's really cool.
This is water wisteria growing just on the ground in my garden, and this is what it looks like when it's in a...
Looks like mint.
Yeah, it does, and you see all the hairs on the leaves and on the stem because it's in a not humid environment. So if it starts raining a lot, which it might do today, the new growth that comes on here will be a lot more delicate and starting to look more like what you would see in an aquarium.
That's so cool.
So yeah.
So did you just chuck it out here and it started growing?
Yeah, I got buckets everywhere. I had a bucket of plants just sitting there because I was going to plant them out and I didn't get a chance. Then it got hot and I thought, oh, these look like crap. Dumped it out there and then they started growing. So
That's so funny.
yeah.
They actually look so good, these tubs too. They're like little domes.
Yeah. So
looking at them.
just seedling trays pretty much with the domes. So this one is Telenantheria. So it's another true red aquarium plant, and you can see the leaves on this are already similar to what you'd see in converted growth, and you can see along the stem they're sending out the aerial roots because they're thinking they're going to be displaced and put in water. So
yeah, gorgeous. So I guess that helps for people wanting to put them in the aquarium because they're so humidity's so
when
high.
when you look now, I've got reviews on a lot of my stuff. You'll see a lot of the plants have got 5-star reviews because they're taking for people's aquariums a lot better than they're just going to Pet Barn or something, being charged an arm and a leg for plants that haven't been converted and then just going to die. So yeah, then when I'm rooting them out, I sit them in standing water with some aqua soil on the bottom there. This is Monte Carlo. I can dump this in a fish tank and I know it's not going to melt back.
And these are just like plastic lids with a little hole.
I couldn't tell you the secret for maintaining the humidity. It's highly dependent on temperature. In winter, I have to make sure that they're all closed up and I'm spraying them down regularly. And then in summer, I've got to make sure that they're getting some air ventilation so they don't get too hot and steam.
Some people just have a knack for keeping plants as well, which you'll see Matt does when we go out, like all of the ponds and stuff.
Yes.
They're very, very heavily planted. And if I tried to do that, I just know that they would probably all die. So
20 years of experience and a diploma in horticulture.
Oh, really? You actually got a diploma in it? Oh, that's okay. That makes sense.
So if you go to do a diploma in horticulture in Australia now, it's tens of thousands of dollars. I was very lucky that because I did some of the prerequisites in high school, I was able to jump into it quite quickly with government subsidies.
Do you think some of it's intuitive too? It's like art. You know how some people are just like naturally good at painting? Some people are good at growing plants.
I think so, but also having said that, you can learn it relatively easy. So if you're good with garden plants, even if it's succulents that you just like, oh, I put them in a pot and they just live, you'll be able to figure out aquarium plants. So it's not something that's limited. You just need to get good stock and know what you're looking for. That'd be a great way to explain here, probably. Mm-hmm. This is all crypts, and they've got all this horrible falling away, looks like algae. That's crypt melt. I'm just letting them melt back, and then I'm going to replant from the roots because they're all still got really good root systems. A lot of people will see that, think their plant is dying, bin the plant or ask for help, like, oh god, it's dying, what do? I start adding a whole bunch of stuff to the aquarium, maybe stress the plant out more and it will die. But crypts, being melodramatic, they'll melt back, and then probably this tank will be the best one to showcase it. The new growth will start to spiral back out from the bulbs of the plant, so you can see the little urn pots, they're all starting to get new growth. So these ones melted back because this tank is right against this window, which gets the full afternoon sun, and it gets quite hot, so a sudden temperature change can cause crypt melt. This is Rotala colorata. It's really kind of bronzy red colored, and the structure of the leaves in here. These plants down here are the exact same plant, but just grown underwater in a lower light condition. So the leaf structure completely changed and the color completely changed. If I was to add CO2 and increase the light to this tank to make sure there's no duckweed in there, it would go back to being a really nice red color.
Do you know about what happened at Chernobyl with the nuclear reactor exploding?
With the mushrooms growing in there?
Yeah, like the fungi.
Eating the radioactivity.
The radioactive energy. How crazy is that?
Yeah, so nature finds a way, and then Chernobyl, even though the animals themselves have a much lower life expectancy, there's a lot more endangered species located there than anywhere else because people aren't going there. So, and even the radioactivity is being contained a lot by the plant matter that is falling down and stopping any of the radioactive dust.
And crazy fungi.
Yeah, and crazy fungi. And if you've seen it, they're like jet black fungus growing over what's left of the reactor.
Crazy. It's like The Last of Us or
video
game. Did you want to show any of the other really cool plants here? Just quickly, maybe, because we've got some beautiful ones.
This is Monte Carlo at the front here.
Yep.
And then at the back is HC Cubus. So I've got this little plastic divider because I didn't have enough trays, and the HC Cubus at the back there.
At the very back.
The Rotala orange has kind of crept over into this one, and there's crypts growing at the back. Japan hydrocotyl, and it grows like an absolute weed. You can see it's actually coming down and dangling out from here. I tried my hand at like Anubias species in here. It works. Like this is Anubias pinto. You can see some of the white leaves and stuff, and it's kind of grown towards the edges, but it doesn't grow as well as compared to if I have it in the standing water. Down here I've got it in standing water, and I started to convert some of these. I tried moving some of the glossostigma in here, but I put some fertilizer pellets in amongst the root systems. But because it's so high in nitrogen, I accidentally burnt the root systems of them by putting too much fertilizer in there.
Oh, no.
So I'll have to clean out this one and fix up those plants so that they come back.
And we'll show you guys what you can do out in ponds as well with some of these plants too, which you'll love seeing.
And then the buckets, unfortunately, I'm a bucket man. There's buckets of stuff everywhere. When I get excessive amounts of Java fern, like I just stick it in a bucket and then I start sorting it out at my own leisure because it really only needs ambient light. There's a few different species of Java fern in here. These are red tiger lotus bulbs. So I have a tiger lotus in my pond. They send out bulbs and runners. When I repot the main mother plant, I take off all the little bulbs that are growing off the sides and I just chuck them in there, and then once they start to root out and send out leaves, I start to pot them up, and that's what they look like.
Yes, nice.
So in here,
lovely.
That's giant Vallisneria at the back next to them. Rotala orange here. Again, it's gone green because this is kind of low light. I just spent all morning scooping out the duckweed because there was like a layer of duckweed this thick over all the tanks. But under high light and with some CO2, you'll get that really nice, vibrant, kind of orangey red colour coming out in them. Liliopsis, which is another carpeting plant. This is a native Australian plant as well. This is some of the water wisteria, just one little pot there. And at the back there is Ludwigia repens, which has got the round leaves, and then just some assorted Anubias species.
And your guppies are beautiful.
Yes, so these are the platinum guppies. They look like crap compared to the ones that are outside, because when guppies get put in ponds in natural light, they colour up way better. This tank, I forgot to clean the glass, but it looks absolutely filthy. The reason why is there's a sun LED light on the top here that's on for like 12 plus hours, and because I had no plants in here, it kind of just made the algae take off. And then I've left this one with some Vallisneria contortionis with the pea puffers, just so that they could eat the snails and stuff in there, and they kind of like the algae to hide in. I was hoping that when I move the adults, if I wait a bit, there'll be some babies that will come out from somewhere, but yeah.
Yeah, they're worth a bit. Everyone's always amazed when I say they're like worth, what, they were $500, then they were $200.
Yeah, and I didn't spend $2,000 on them.
$2,000 on them?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there you go, guys. So everyone in America, I think you guys get these for like $2 or $3.
These are the ones I got from Peter Ford, these Goodyears.
Yes.
I've still to get the ones from Adrian, because his one's got way more colour, but the male here's got a little bit of colour. When I chuck these guys in the pond, I'm assuming I'm going to get some breeding from them then. In this tank, they've done a great job of controlling a lot of the algae. People always say don't put guppies in there. I couldn't get these 3 male guppies out of the tank, so they've all got stumpy tails because the Goodyears have just been maintaining a short buzz cut for them. These are blue koi. So they are ones that my friend Glenn, we were doing a little side project. He started breeding them. So they've all got the blue tuxedo genes. I think the big female passed away, but she had a heap of babies just before she died, and they'll start to get the real bright blue spot on the front of their head as they mature.
Nice. They don't live long.
No, they don't. Mine live a decent amount of time because I don't put heaters in my tanks either, because where we are on the Gold Coast, it doesn't get cold enough to kill the fish inside. And I find by having no heater in the tank with the guppies and keeping the temperature between 18 and 22 degrees, they live a lot longer. And the only thing I found with female guppies, when you have really big female guppies, occasionally the tank will look amazing with them in there. They'll all decide to drop fry around the same time, and then within a week, all of those really big females will die. It's just something I've noticed, and some of my other friends that breed specifically on the guppies, they've noticed the same thing after a huge spawn from the large females, and the large females just kind of drop dead. I don't know if it's a hormonal release into the water, but yeah.
Like a survival thing where they're like, alright, there's all our babies.
Yeah.
Die now.
And then after that, you end up with a tank full of fish because you got that many babies, but yeah.
And so, like, for just anyone watching too, knowing it's no water change, like, would you say the key is lots of plants, not too many fish?
So, yes, unless you're doing this. So these are 2 of my green water tanks. Whoa. They are absolutely full of fish, specifically mollies, because mollies will eat the other types of algae that I don't want. They're hungry, I've got to feed them. But the green water that's in there is there for me to feed, baby rainbow fish, and more specifically like my Daphnia cultures. So you can see at the top here, this is all Daphnia.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, so all these little Chinese takeaway containers at the top here, they're all Daphnia. So I sell the cultures, so it's pretty easy for me to maintain them that way. And I just scoop out green water with a cup, pour the green water into them. If I run out of green water because I've forgot to keep the tanks topped up, I just put in, mix some water in a cup with yeast and then feed that to them. So to get the green water, I got one of the Bunnings root tabs and I chucked it in there, and then inside of a week the water was green. You can do that to get the water green, but if you do that with just fresh water, don't put the fish in there first because it's going to cause an ammonia spike first. If you've got some algae in there, like the green water algae in there, and you just try to make it grow really fast, then you can chuck the root tab straight in there because the algae will multiply faster than it will cause a problem for the fish.
So it's just lots of nutrients and light.
18 hours.
Wow.
You don't need it on that long to get the green water, but because these are only low quality LED lights, that's why I got it on there. If you had like a sun like that, you could have it for like 4 or 5 hours and it would go green.
Then we've just got these tanks indoors.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the bottom rows of tanks are quarantine tanks. All down here. There's some female guppies I'm quarantining down here. There's guppy colonies. They've all gone through deworming. I've just got to set up the ponds for them to go outside now. Standard koi guppies. I have to grade them because obviously like males like this is not a koi guppy, so I have to actually go through and remove those males, and I just sell them as assorted guppies. And then like low light plants in here. There's some Bucephalandra, there's some crested Java fern and Anubias and stuff like that. They're all things that anyone can grow. Duckweed in here, because if you've got a layer of duckweed with killifish, they're way less likely to jump out of the tank. So these are all Gardnerite killifish. And I put their eggs all in these containers with methylene blue, so that mop in there, they lay the eggs in there. Each day I pull out the eggs, put them in a container. They start to hatch. Gardnerite killifish babies. If you have a small tank, just half fill it so they can't jump out, and then I just raise them up in there.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's good, just having a low water level.
Yeah.
These guys are so cute.
Everyone knows me as a guppy person, but I actually love mollies probably nearly as much, if not more. I found that it's like guppies, finding good quality mollies has been like the bane of my existence. This is a display tank I set up ages ago on my YouTube channel. I got a wayward angelfish gifted to me, and I found out that an angelfish this size is very much capable of fitting a pygmy cory in its mouth, because it's eaten, I think, 2 of them.
Oh no, they've got to be fast.
Yeah, I was really disappointed to see that he was eating one of the pygmy cories.
He'll get his karma later.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is just a bonsai pot that I put in here with some dirt. I put some rocks in there and then just some stem plants, and that's it. It ended up with some other terracotta pots in there, not by me intentionally putting them there. It's just I needed space to put random crap, so
Yeah, no.
the display tank is no longer a display tank. When you have stem plants and they start to look like this, all you got to do, pinch, plant, that's a new plant, and this will grow new stems from there and look bushy again.
That's a good tip.
And that's why I always recommend a thicker substrate as well. So if you can't just do that, because like a lot of people will have substrate like that thick for their entire tank, then try and plant plants.
That's me.
It's an uphill
Guilty.
battle, and the frustration is real.
Yeah.
Like seething rage, me trying to do that, and I'm like, you know what? Don't be cheap and don't be stupid, just add more substrate.
Well, I like this as a good practical solution, just getting so you don't have to add so much substrate to the whole tank, because that can be really expensive adding thick substrate. You can just put it in a little bowl.
Yes.
And the display tank we'll show you guys inside is like that as well. We're just going to quickly show you that too.
Again, it's a no water change aquarium. I did it, I think, nearly 6 months ago now. I have done nothing to it. I didn't even pull the hair algae out that started growing yet. That's the only maintenance that will need to be done for this tank, is keeping the front of the glass cleaned off and pulling the couple of bits of hair algae that started to grow in there. And the reason why, unlike all the rest of the tanks, it has got way less algae growing in it is because the lights on here is only on for maybe 4 hours a day. So when I'm home and I'm actually able to view the aquarium, I'll turn the lights on. I've got backup Daphne cultures on here, because if I forget to feed the display tank because it's away from the rest of the aquariums, I can just upend one of the Daphne colonies in here and then they eat really well. So I had some Cacatoides, male here, 2 females, in with my blue cross black Moscow guppies. There's 1 male Moscow left because he decided that he didn't like the other males. So I'm actually going to have to swap the guppies out for probably the neon tetras that are in the garage.
Why are they called Moscow guppies?
I'm not sure.
Because they're just cool and dark.
I think it's got to do with
Russia.
the I think it's got to do with the coloration. So this male is kind of a little bit stressed, so he should be a much more vibrant color, but I think because the cacatoides is a bit stressed out, so as soon as I get a free pond, the guppies will be moved out of here. I have a whole bunch of caves in here with the terracotta pots, so hopefully they will spawn once the guppies are out of here, because there's no way the fry will survive with guppies being the way they are. There's also one gold mystery snail in here, and that's been the algae control for the tank. But obviously suckermouth fish and snails don't eat hair algae. So I did film the making of this tank on my YouTube channel. It's an hour long. It probably should have been cut down way shorter, but you just have to skip a few bits if you watch it.
Perfect. Well, I'll tag it or link it. All right. Well, should we go outside? Do you think? Is it raining still?
No, we've got a break in the rain.
Take advantage of it. My dad just sent me a picture of the house on the real estate website. It says under offer now, so good sign. All right, guys, so we're just in the backyard area now. So what we're going to do is Matt's going to run us through all of the beautiful IBC tubs and ponds that he's got out here.
Just quickly move these couple of trip hazards. I thought I was going to be better than I was and have this like all landscaped before you got here. This just needs to have another thing put on here so I can make the ground level, and all along here is going to be IBCs and then there, but I'm not as good as I think I am, so that hasn't been done.
So relatable.
Yeah. The one thing that really bothers me, and I didn't notice until after, so because the tornado that came through here, it blew out one of the panels, but it also knocked this out of line. So even though I measured exactly the same length of here, this post is slightly forward, not by much, but enough that you can visually see it when you're standing over there. So I'm really annoyed that I didn't double check that before I cemented it.
Oh, it sucks. Man, you guys got hit by that tornado.
Oh yeah. And we got off for light. Some people lost their entire roofs and trees going through their house, everything, yeah. So you can see one really nice male Gertrude there with the white fins.
Oh yes.
So this is all my spotted blue eyes. They've got guppy grass and hornwort in this IBC. They stay outside all year, even in winter with no heater, and they just survive. So you can have your spotted blue eyes outside all year, and they do tolerate pretty cold conditions by, relative standards, considering they come from the top end of Australia.
So this is Brisbane. Oh no, this is Gold Coast actually.
Yeah, Gold Coast.
So we get like the lowest would probably be like 4 degrees, would you say? But rarely, maybe more 8 degrees on average, but that's just overnight.
Yes.
Then in the day when you've got direct sun,
it will get 16 is the lowest during the day, so.
Yeah, it's not too bad. And then I think they just adapt some of them maybe and just get used to it.
Yes, so every year the weakest ones kind of die out and the strongest ones survive. Same as with the guppies I leave outside as well. You can have some really nice guppies to start with, and then what happens is as they start to strengthen up, you might lose some of the coloration, but you'll get a stronger, more cold resilient guppy, and then you can just backbreed them to something in the same line to get the color back. This IBC has nothing in there. I say nothing, there should be a heap of cherry shrimps somewhere, but they're probably all at the bottom. This is all Lagugia, narrow leaf Lagugia, so they get little yellow flowers. You can pot them up and have them as a marginal plant. You can have them as an underwater stem plant, however you'd like it. But if you just let it go in your ponds, this is what it looks like. Adrian had a heap of it growing over the tops of his aquariums because they send out runners like this, so you can create an in and out of water look. This one has nothing but a Zola in here. So if you look down there, there's a little frog stuck to the side. Eastern saged frog, and they're the bane of my existence because there's about 1,000 of them that have now taken up residence in my yard because I got so many ponds.
But they're so cute.
They don't shut up.
Oh yeah.
At night they do not shut up.
So cute.
Yeah, so they're adorable to look at, but holy crap, they don't shut up. And for such a small frog, they make such a big sound.
And then I saw this fish trap because I think I remember in Nick's video you saying that's how you catch a lot of your fish.
So when they're in the full-size IBCs, I've got these tiny little arms and these tiny little legs, and I got this fat stomach, so I can't really get in there. Put the fish trap in there, and then when I completely drain it, open out the bottom of it, and I stick like the end of that in there because it's better than a net.
Yeah, it's such a good idea actually.
So that's how I catch everything out of the ponds.
So what you guys are going to see too is great inspiration for anyone that wants low maintenance ponds outside. Whether you want a small little patio pond or you want a bigger pond in an IBC, this is going to really show you what you can do and have it be pretty low effort, low maintenance.
So With this pond, the reason why there's floating algae like there is on here is because we've had, like, even though it's an overcast day, it's been a hot day, the heat has kind of made the algae rise to the surface. I don't have any fish in this pond, so it just settles on the top like that and looks disgusting. This pond here, the same algae at the bottom, has none at the top because all of the guppies have disturbed the water.
This is just so beautiful.
This is a sunshine lily, so it's a yellow one. These are swamp cypress that I have in some plastic bonsai pots that have kind of just flooded over and fallen because of all the rain that we've had. But these are Dumbo ear platinum red guppies. So you can see that one at your fingers there, that's the stud. And he's got a heap of girlfriends in here. A lot of the immature males are going to be sold as culls because this is one that's got really nice coloration, Dumbo ears and everything, whereas some of the other males, like that one here, hasn't got the Dumbo ears and hasn't got the platinum on the body, so he'll have to be fished out. So yeah, so that's half of the job, I suppose, with keeping fancy guppies, is maintaining like the strain and just fishing out males. I always keep the females, just fish out the males that don't show the characteristics I want.
This lily pad, is that flower, the sunshine?
So the sunshine ones is these little ones here.
Okay.
These round ones here, they are the One Visa water lilies. And I've got one with a flower, but it's most likely closed if the sunshine is closed as well, which is unfortunate because they're beautiful flowers. These are tuxedo koi guppies. So you can't really see because they're in green water, but the males have got Dumbo ears. Some of the females have Dumbo ears as well. This is next to them, their babies, so I fish out the babies. They're only in here temporarily. They need to be in a much bigger pond, but while I'm still doing what I'm doing, it hasn't happened yet. So when you're in really shallow containers like that in a full sun position, even just having that many lily pads in there just helps shade some of the water so they don't get too hot, because you can cook your fish if you haven't got...
If it's shallow.
Yeah, and if it's crystal clear water, the water can get really hot.
Makes sense.
This one is the wayward angelfish. There's 2 angelfish in here. I'm probably going to come out to a whole bunch of babies one day because they have laid eggs in the person's tank who gave them to me. But I got them because they developed a taste for the guppies and neon tetras in that person's tank, and they were not prepared for the carnage that angelfish will bring to your aquarium. So they're not a community fish by any stretch of the word unless you've got fish that are way bigger than their mouths.
Yes, they're not making a good impression.
No, they're named ironically as far as I can tell. This one's probably a bit hard to see, but there is a heap of platinum rice fish babies in here.
Aww.
So I just had a spawning mop, chucked it in here. A week later, you see a heap of little rice fish come out, and they are cold tolerant. Like, you could put them in the freezer and I'm pretty sure they'll still grow out.
Yes, they live in Japan and stuff.
Yes. So
Snooze.
I didn't know this. The other fish that's a rice fish is Daisy's rice fish. They come from Indonesia. They won't survive outside here. Found out that the hard way. Bacopa, this is kind of the end of their flowering season, but they will be a mass of little blue flowers when you have them in a pond and let them break the surface.
They're beautiful.
A lot of people just have it as a stem plant in their aquarium. I think Bacopa makes a better pond plant than it does aquascaping aquarium plant.
Yeah, because it probably wouldn't do that so much in an aquarium.
No.
Right? Would need that sunlight.
And it helps keep the water crystal clear. So you can see this water, it's like there's heaps of algae and stuff like that. Little cherry shrimp that's here as well. Oops. So she's a buried cherry shrimp, one of the survivors. But it really does help keep the water crystal clear. Water lilies are like supermodels of the pond world. They're pretty to look at, but otherwise useless. They don't keep the water clean compared to the stem plants.
Interesting.
There's a whole bunch, this one in here, so I needed somewhere to hold water lilies. I'm potting up to sell at the next fish auction in March. Oh, they've already gone root bound. This is only after a couple of weeks, so already root bound, sending out stuff there. They've just had a whole bunch of flowers on them, but there's peaches and cream, there's One Visa here, and then this is the tiger lotus. So tiger lotus have very jagged leaves around the edges there. They get like a cream coloured flower. It will actually open at night as well as during the day, which I found very interesting. And then they send out a whole bunch of runners, so that's what tiger lotus look like in a pond. And then this is my actual lotus. So this is what actual lotus look like.
Oh, it's so pretty.
And the only another frog just jumped up on the.
Ooh.
These frogs, just like the bane of my existence, they tadpoles in every one of the ponds.
Will he bite?
No, got no teeth. It's probably freaking out, thinking the hairy guy never touched me.
There we go. Oh, I got a nice model shot now. Beautiful. Oh, and there's one down.
Yeah, they're
everywhere.
They're absolutely everywhere. There's so many of them at the moment because in one of the ponds they had just gone through their transition, so when they're coming out of the water with their little tails and stuff still attached.
So cute.
I like them during the day. I hate them at night.
When they're noisy.
Oh.
Yeah, because you said one of these are these the ones outside your bedroom?
Yeah, so this is like the living room here.
Yeah.
And then around the side is where my room is.
Oh, yes.
And there's a lot of plant cover for them there. So about 6 or 7 of them sit in that pond just croaking all night. And they're not like soft, gentle. It's like the rapid machine gun fire.
Not the peaceful croak.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, I could go to sleep to this. It's just like the big green tree frogs, and you hear them and they've that real loud to them. And then you've got striped marsh frog or rocket frog, and that's just all night. And then when there's 3 or 4 of them going and they're not in sync, it's like click, 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 click. And then you've got these little guys that you think would be the quiet ones, but they're the most noisy. Platinum guppies in here, so you can see what I was talking about with the colour showing up a lot better in the fish that are outside. They all think they're going to get fed.
So pretty. You'll be selling these at the auction too?
Yes, every auction I bring them.
You get some big ones.
Yeah, to maintain the line, I wasn't able to buy more platinum guppies to breed in with them. So I went to the next closest relative to these guys, which is actually magenta guppy. So I chucked in a male magenta guppy, and then what happens is since then they've been throwing out some that are half-bodied blonde. And then every so often you will see some males that have a real bright red streak to their tail.
Do you get birds trying to eat them?
Not that I've seen, but I wouldn't give the opportunity. So if I saw any herrings or any ibis around any of these ponds, I'd have them covered over, and then I would be shooing the birds away.
You probably have too many as well to notice, I guess. They'd probably be...
Yeah, and so I always make sure I've got plenty of cover with water lilies and stuff like that.
That's true, yeah. They've got a lot of place to hide.
Yeah, that's why as much as I hate the look of like all this algae at the bottom, I leave it there for a functional purpose. The fish can go underneath it and hide.
Yes, that's so true.
The other way you can do it is by having like bricks or something that they can go in and hide under, but I think the algae is better for the babies because the fry can just eat the little microorganisms that grow on there as well.
Oh, the tree.
This is the mother of the swamp cypress. So this is where all the other ones come, and I just like cut off a branch, stick it in the water, let it root out.
Do you know where they're native to?
I think these are from the US.
And they must just live in the swamps.
Yes, so I think they're the same ones that you see in like Florida when you see all the cypress.
Yeah, no,
But I'm not 100% sure. I could be talking out my ass.
I'll Google it.
Yeah. But yeah, so this pond that is in here is just all marbled swordtails and giant Vallisneria. So I had goldfish in here. Water was like pea soup green because of the goldfish. As soon as I took them out and added all the Vallisneria in here, water went crystal clear.
Have you bonsai'd that swamp cypress?
Yes, yeah. I was going to have it as a informal upright, and then I was going to make it into a literati style, and now I'm thinking I'm just going to do a really big cutting off it, lift it up, and eventually turn it into a root over rock. So you can't see the lava rock from that side, but this side. Is it. So this used to be in one of my aquariums years ago.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what, I'm going to put a fig tree on it. So I've got to, when I repot it this time, I lift it up and expose more of the rock again. And I chose fig tree for the same reason I chose the swamp cypress. Mm-hmm. I can sit it on a milk crate inside one of my fish ponds.
Matt used to have silky chickens.
Yes, I had Chinese silky bantams. I had little pom-poms on the heads.
So cute.
Anything I planted in a pot, they'd promptly dig out for me because clearly that wasn't meant to be there. And I couldn't have vegetables. So that's why one of them was called Dozer and one of them was called Tank, because they just the way through everything in the garden. I've got a molly pond here.
Oh, lovely.
So all I did for there's some guppy grass that's kind of not liking being in the full sun, but I've got a really big piece of brain coral that was obviously dried out, and I put that in there, and that keeps the hardness of the water up. So otherwise, the only other way you do it is in the pond next to it. I've got a cinder block or Bessa brick in there, and that also keeps the carbonate hardness up. So when I put the mollies from one of the green water tanks in there, they'll have no problem
And so that's going to be a problem I'll encounter because I'm going to have to use rainwater for my African cichlids.
So yeah, so you put some bricks in the sump, or put a whole bunch of coral in the sump.
Yep, and just hold the water maybe somewhere for a bit.
Or if you got a dedicated rainwater tank for just the fish, dump it straight into the tank. Because then it's already like filtered as well.
I get to shower and stuff in hard water.
Yeah.
I reckon it'll be fine.
You just have to like acid clean the shower every once in a while.
Yeah. Be a bit minerally, but it'll be fine.
These tubs here, full of rice fish. These ones are tricolored rice fish. If they now don't freak out that I stuck my hands in there. Yeah, there's one down there. So little speckles on them.
Yeah, I want to get some rice fish from outside in my patio pond.
Yeah, there's one orange. Yeah, so these are tricolour. These are low grade ones I've got because these are just culls from my friends. So he's just like, oh, I'll take them as a backup. They still look really nice, but they're nowhere near as nice as the proper tricolour. And they breed like rabbits, so I have to be really careful with my hairy arms, sticking my hands into rice fish buckets and then going to other tanks, because then eggs get scattered and then I can mix up different varieties.
Yeah, it's like the perfect consistency. It's like a breeding mop.
Yeah, and let's just move my arm through there and like, oh, there's an egg there. These are my platinums.
You could just shave your arms.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Oh, they're gorgeous. Look at that colour.
So they're all platinums.
I'll zoom in on that. That is just beautiful. And they're rice fish?
Yep.
Is that how big they normally get?
Yep.
Oh, I just never.
So a lot of people have never seen them as big as my house, probably because they've bought them when they're quite young, or they've had them keep them inside. I find that inside they don't grow that big. This is all eggs.
Oh, lovely.
See all the eggs?
Mhm.
There's hundreds of rice fish eggs.
That's awesome.
This mop was in here for a week.
I've never seen them that big in my life. I wouldn't have even known. I thought they were, I don't know, like a platy or something.
Yeah. No, they're all rice fish. Actually, there's that many in there. I'll probably put this in here. So this is all I do. So rice fish lay eggs in mop goes in bucket hatches out rice fish. That's why I don't understand why they're so expensive.
Yeah.
They are the easiest fish to breed. I'd say they're easier than guppies, because guppies, you have to make sure the parents don't eat the fry. You don't have that problem with these.
Do you have to do many top-ups of the buckets and the ponds and stuff? Or
Where they're like this, no. If we have a 38-degree heat wave and no rain for 2 weeks, yes, because you can see the lines around the pond there. That's just the water level dropping from evaporation. That may drop 1.5 inches in a week or in 2 days. It depends on the weather.
And then do you just fill it up with hose water, or like?
So I get the garden hose and I just dunk it in, and I hopefully remember to turn it off before it overflows, and then just go around to each pond to do that.
And dechlorinate it?
I've got a water filtration system on my house, so all the chlorine is already taken out of the water before it gets to the ponds.
That's like what AB does.
Yes.
Yeah.
But before I had that, good luck fish, just went in anyway.
Yes.
But topping up versus doing a complete water change, that's why I could get away with doing that. So this is the pond that had the cane toad
yes.
tadpoles in there, and they are the little black tadpoles that are kind of going around a bit. But those two nests there of foam, they are frog eggs.
Oh, they're frogs. I thought they were cane toads.
No, so cane toads lay eggs in long strings.
Okay.
And every day with a little net, we've been scooping out the cane toad tadpoles and tossing them in the garden. But that is most likely the striped marsh frogs, because I heard 3 of them last night going through the ponds all night. The plants that are in here, this is a mosaic ligugia. A lot of people will have that as just a floating plant. You do need to plant the stem into some form of substrate for it to do really well.
Right, okay.
So you can't just leave it to float, it'll eventually just die.
I think you gave that to me.
Yes.
Yes. I think it may have died. It looks nice.
Yeah. If you got them in the fish tank, you need to have the tank open, because if it's really humid and the water's like constantly sitting on the top, that will kill them. If they're next to a water feature that keeps splashing them, that will cause them to die back as well. Yeah.
Yes. You know what I was thinking? found this turtle. It was a sawshell turtle.
Yes.
And apparently they're one of the only turtles that can eat cane toads.
Really?
Yeah. So maybe you just need to get a sawshell turtle.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't know turtles have a crack at anything. Like we had a cat that had its tail swinging in the little long-necked turtle.
Oh my gosh.
Cat never went near that pond again.
No, it would've let us-
Luckily, it was the turtle's this big going after the tabby cat or whatever. I used to have turtles. Then the ungrateful little craps. I think it's 10 years ago now. Well, I'm so old. We had all that rain, like that once in 100-year flood.
Oh, yeah.
When it wouldn't stop raining. The ungrateful little sods got out of the pond, and you may or may not know this, turtles are good at two things: climbing things that they shouldn't be able to climb, and digging under things they shouldn't be able to dig under.
Tortoises do that too.
I have never seen those turtles again.
They're in the wild now.
They're gone somewhere. I thought maybe they're just in the yard, checked in the school behind here, checked all the neighbours' yards. I'm like, how far could they go? Checked the drains.
Oh
No
my
idea.
gosh.
Someone probably picked them up and took them home, but
And we all complain about the strict biosecurity rules, but this is why they have them.
yeah.
'Cause
Yeah, so luckily they're native
Yeah,
turtles,
they
but
would be
yeah.
native.
So if any hybrids end up out there, I'm sorry. I don't know how they did. This is blue stricter, so you can see the leaves real papery compared to the ones that are inside that are quite soft.
This stuff's pretty. That's some mosaic stuff, but it's
Yes.
just more red.
So, and that's what I was saying about not having it potted. So this is all floating and it's starting to die back because I got to pot them up. But being where it was, it's getting a lot of sun, and especially with the white bucket there, it's reflecting the light in there as well, causing the leaves to go redder as well. These are my paradise fish. It's really nice males that have sexed out in here as well. The really nice long fins,
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
and the females with the rounder bodies.
You don't see them too often either.
No, which surprises me. They used to be called the king of the aquarium because you couldn't kill them and they get spectacular colours. So they can survive outside all year. Adrian was shocked to find that out, and he had his out for most of the year until it got too cold and he saw they were really lethargic and he felt sorry for them. So they got 5-star treatment after that. But they're in between a gourami and a betta. So so the males, they flare out, so that one's just flaring out at the female. Having a heap of them in a pond like that stops a lot of the aggression. If I was breeding them, you put a male and a female in a tub this size with some water lilies or floating plants. They'll lay eggs. Inside of a week, they'll be babies.
Yeah, they look so good. It'll be cool seeing them from the side with the GoPro.
Yeah, this is the tiger and bucket or pond.
Yeah, this is what I want to do with my little patio pond.
There's no substrate in the bottom of this. There's some yellow-orange shrimp in here. And this is just pearlweed. So pearlweed, when it breaks the surface, it looks like Monte Carlo. And then this is Japan hydrocotyle around the side.
Oh, this is pearlweed?
Yes.
Oh,
It
does
looks like Monte Carlo.
Just a big thick carpet of it, it looks
Yep.
like.
This one is where I grow pretty much all of my banana lilies.
And your frog army.
And the frog army that don't shut up at night because there's heaps of lily pads for them. Yeah, there's one just jumped down there.
I like that flower.
So yeah, so these flowers are from the banana lilies. Then those leaves turn into these. You can plant these into your aquarium and then just keep cutting the leaves, and these leaves will stay growing at underwater, kind of like a lotus. If you leave them to grow to the surface, then they'll grow into these sort of leaves.
Yes.
You can grow them like that in your aquarium. You just need a really good light to do so, and then obviously once they break the surface like that, you have to make sure there's not like a lid keeping in the humidity because they'll cause the leaves to die back and rot.
Yes, I had like a partially open acrylic tank with a Fluval 3.0 plant light
Yes.
on it, and that grew them, like the lilies went crazy, like
Yeah.
they grew so fast.
Yeah, so that if you're trying to grow lilies and you're not sure if you can do it or not, they're the cheapest entry point into getting them. They get little white flowers, nothing spectacular, but if you like bees and stuff like that, bees love those little flowers.
Oh yeah, do you have native bees or anything here?
Yes, so when the peach tree goes into flower, it gets swarmed by the native bees more than honeybees. And then obviously like I've got a Tahitian lime, cafe lime, mango tree and a lychee tree. They get swarmed by all the pollinating insects. But one thing I will say, if you do have a peach tree, don't put it near your ponds or your tubs because the wood and leaves, when they go into the tank, they can be toxic.
Oh, good point. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. These are just normal pots. They don't have water in them, do they?
No, they're just normal strawberry pots.
Oh, they're strawberries?
So yeah, so these are strawberries. This is the flower, and then this is the strawberry starting to form.
Oh.
My sisters may have gotten into the strawberries.
I can see one. on the corner here.
Oh yeah.
Slightly.
Yeah, yeah. One tiny little munted one here. There's a much better one.
Oh yeah. I had a strawberry plant once.
So yeah, if you wash that one, you can have that.
Oh, thanks. Alright, I'll eat it later.
Sometimes the little brown lizards, like the little skink lizards, they actually really like eating fruit. They take little bites out of like especially little munted sized ones. They'll take the little bites out of them. But what I had intended on doing, which I haven't done because I haven't finished landscaping and everything, this is a typical strawberry pot. If you live in Australia, these are absolutely useless because they dry out so quickly being terracotta. I'm going to stick it in that much water in one of the ponds. I'm going to have strawberries growing in it, and then some aquarium plants.
Nice.
Because when it's in the middle of a pond doing that, you stop the garden snails and slugs from being able to get into the pot and eating the fruit.
I had a malnourished strawberry plant as a kid, and it had like tiny leaves, and I grew one tiny strawberry, and then an animal came and ate it.
So I bought a punnet of like strawberry seedlings, and I planted them, and they cost like $20 from Bunnings, and they died. My sister went to Coles, bought some strawberries, eating it, chucking the heads of the strawberries, the green heads of the strawberries everywhere. One of them had a couple seeds still on there. They took root and grew into these ones, and now they're sending out runners like crazy. So
that's just from eating strawberries,
yeah,
chucking it
just a strawberry head that she chucked down.
There you go. Sometimes simple is better.
Yeah. Then lemongrass and the Indian almond tree. So these are the leaves used for all the aquariums.
Oh, that's what they look like
Yes.
before they fall off.
Yep.
Oh, do you sell them as well for bedders and stuff?
Usually when people come here and if I've got some, I just like give them to them.
Yeah, sell them on the ground.
Yeah, so when you buy them from a lot of aquarium stores, and the reason why they look so pretty when they're in the packaging, you got the tree, cut the leaf off while it's green, and then just sit it somewhere dry until it turns brown and properly dehydrated. You put a little bit of weight on it and it'll keep it flat, and then you've got an easy way of storing them. Yeah. So you can't put them in before they've gone dry, otherwise I think they're toxic. But once they're completely dry, they're fine. So this is peaches and cream water lily. Something has gotten into here and caused these leaves to go like this. Aphids.
No.
So aphids are a huge problem for aquarium.
Will my strawberry be safe if I put it here? Will anything come and eat it?
No.
Okay, just remind me.
So aphids are a huge pain in the backside when it comes to pond plants. Easiest solution is, so usually you have a pond that's like got more of a built up side, and I will just turn the water on and completely submerge the leaves. Then the fish will come in and pick off all the aphids.
That's a good trick.
But this is the Vietnamese mint.
Oh yes, yep. I was looking at it before. It smells really nice. Not like mint, but
yeah. So it's not a minty smell. It's a type of mint, but it doesn't have a minty smell. Vietnamese will use it in a lot of their cooking, like pho, bún bò Huế, some of the banh mi, and especially the fertilized duck eggs balut. They will mix that with white pepper and eat this as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Matt's actually Chinese.
Yeah, Chinese background.
Most people think he sounds South African. That's what I thought.
Yeah, everyone thinks I'm South African for some reason.
Chinese Australian accent.
Yeah, because my grandmother couldn't understand like, oh yeah, like no way she could understand us. She had to speak as clearly as possible. This is the one Visa water lily, water clover, which is like another lily styled one, and they just sent out runners like crazy as well. This pond in here is where I've kept all my goldfish and some swordtails. So the comets do really well outside all year, so do the swordtails. Unfortunately, the little fantails, like that fat little guy that just went swimming away here, they don't like being outside all year in the cold because they've got a lot stockier of a body. They kind of slow down a lot more. They will survive, they just hate life. But your regular comets and stuff, they do really well out in cold water.
Yeah, they do better.
You missed one flower. This was one of the spent lotus, and then this one you're too early for. So this is a white lotus.
We'll wash our strawberry. See if it tastes like a store strawberry. Oh my gosh, it's actually so good. It tastes really sweet.
Yeah.
It's so much better. Do they like it? Should I give this to them? Should I put it in there, or should I just put it in?
The shrimp might eat it.
Are they shrimp in here?
Shrimp in there.
Okay, I'll just put it in. Let's see if the guppies like it. There you go, guys. I don't think they'll be interested. There we go. It's like koi. You can just like pick them up. Aww. I love them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much, Matt, for spending over an hour showing us around and giving us an awesome tour of all the ponds and all of the fish. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. You guys said you wanted to see Fishroom, so I hope you enjoyed seeing the Fishroom and the outdoors Fishroom.
Yes.
Essentially.
And so next time Katie comes here, the entire Fishroom should be redone, because I'm getting all 2-foot tanks and changing the layout of inside there once we get the ceiling fixed. And I should hopefully have all of the outside finished, and you'll see completely different again. Make sure you check out Duffy Aquatics. So we've got a YouTube channel, yes, which will link website, link Instagram as well, and email, yes, if you want to get in contact to buy any plants or fish. And I guess we can wrap it up there. All right. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.